Greetings, fellow commanders and historians. Today, we continue our enlightening series of expanded lore videos. As always, these segments are a harmonious blend of established lore combined with my own creative insights. For purists seeking an untainted view into OnePageRules' GrimDark Future, do refer to my lore breakdown series. But first, a massive shout out and thanks to all of you who participated in our recent community poll. We had the biggest turnout and the most votes ever, but I have some unfortunate news for everyone. While the Orc Marauders were the most voted for faction of all time, the OnePageRules GrimDark Future official lore for the Orc Marauders was completely changed right before I started working on this video. The new lore is currently a little underwhelming, but from what I hear there are more changes coming. So instead of a half-baked Orc video, I decided to go with Human Inquisition instead. Hopefully you all enjoy it while we wait for the new Orc lore. While the Human Inquisition wasn't our first choice, the community still gave a strong show of support for him, which is a testament to the intrigue and mystery surrounding this secretive organization. Their journey, marked by covert operations, psychic phenomenon, and the relentless pursuit of humanity's protection, captures the imagination of all those who delve into the Sirius sector's lore. Today we'll explore the shadowy corridors of the Human Inquisition's history, uncovering the secrets and strategies that define their mysterious existence. So prepare to venture into the hidden depths of this clandestine order, where the line between savior and zealot is as blurred as the truth they seek to protect. In the Milky Way galaxy, humanity's story was one of constant struggle and strife. Before their arrival in the Sirius sector, humans faced numerous challenges, from internal conflicts to external threats. This period was marked by a relentless pursuit of survival, expansion, and complete oppression. Amidst this chaos, a significant figure emerged, a gene scientist known as the Founder. In an attempt to rise to the supreme rulership of humanity, the Founder brought about a devastating war that ravaged Earth and its colonies. This conflict was not just a battle for control, but also a fight for the very soul of humanity. As the war intensified, many survivors sought a means of escape from this relentless conflict. In a daring and desperate move, a group of refugees commandeered the Founder's flagship, leading a fleet of like-minded survivors in search of safety and a new beginning. The Founder, relentless in his pursuit, caught up with the refugee fleet, forcing a catastrophic engagement at the edge of known space. The Battle Brothers, loyal to the Founder, seemed unstoppable until a mysterious young woman emerged, rallying the refugees with her extraordinary charisma and leadership. In the midst of this desperate battle, a massive wormhole unexpectedly formed, engulfing both fleets. This event scattered the colony fleet across the unknown expanse of the Sirius sector, marking the beginning of a new chapter in humanity's saga. The survivors, now in the Sirius sector, rallied around the mysterious woman who had become a symbol of hope and resistance. Under her guidance, they settled on desperate worlds, where her diplomatic skills fostered peace and stability. It was in this new environment, far from the Milky Way's turmoil, that the seeds of the Human Inquisition were sown. Upon humanity's arrival in the Sirius sector, a new era dawned. The challenges of establishing a foothold in this new galaxy were immense. It was a time of uncertainty and danger, with humanity scattered across unfamiliar and often hostile territories. In these trying times, a beacon of hope and guidance emerged, the Blessed Sisters. The Blessed Sisters were formed as a response to the myriad of challenges facing the human colonies in the Sirius sector. They were envisioned as protectors, spiritual guides, and unifiers for the fragmented human settlements. Drawing inspiration from the worship of the God Queen, the Sisters sought to embody her virtues of strength, wisdom, and benevolence. The Sisters quickly realized that the role was not just spiritual or ceremonial. The threats in the Sirius sector were real and imminent, ranging from hostile alien species to remnants of the Founder's followers. To effectively safeguard the human colonies, the Sisters knew they needed to be ever vigilant and prepared. This led to a life of rigorous training and discipline for the Blessed Sisters. They dedicated themselves to martial prowess and strategic acumen and deep spiritual connection. Their monastic, isolated lifestyle was a testament to their commitment to being ready at a moment's notice to defend humanity. But despite their noble intentions and formidable abilities, the Blessed Sisters faced a significant challenge. Their dedication to rigorous training and spiritual pursuit in a monastic lifestyle led to complete isolation. This lifestyle, while essential for their readiness to protect human colonies, also distanced them from the very people they were sworn to defend. In the vast and perilous expanse of the Sirius sector, the Sisters' isolation became a liability. The human colonies scattered across different worlds were vulnerable to various threats, including the lingering influence of the Founder and their followers. The Sisters realized that to effectively aid these colonies, they needed a more direct and proactive approach. This realization led to the creation of a specialized group within the Blessed Sisters called the Inquisition. The night draped itself over the capital like a dark cloak, contrasting starkly with the city's vibrant heart. In the bustling main streets, the last of the evening's revelers made their way home under the watchful gaze of a flickering street lamp. But beyond this livelier venue, in the shadowy embrace of the side alleys, a different world unfolded, one of silence and secrets, where every footstep whispered tales of intrigue. Lurking in these shadows was the Inquisitor, a solitary figure defined by her purposeful stride and the determined glint in her eye. Trained in the arts of stealth and espionage, she had honed her skills over years of clandestine service, but tonight's mission carried a personal weight, a burning need for answers that transcended her usual call of duty. Her cloak billowed softly as she moved, a specter gliding through the darkness. Skillfully, she navigated the labyrinthine streets, her movements a fluid dance with the shadows. The cold night air carried the distant sounds of the city, laughter, the clinking of glasses, a distant bard song, blending into the distant symphony that underscored her silent passage. She avoided the pools of light cast by street lamps, her path a careful weave through the darkness, her presence nothing more than a fleeting shadow to a casual observer. As she moved, her mind was a whirlwind of thoughts and memories. She recalled the countless hours spent gathering intelligence, the faces of informants shrouded in secrecy, the weight of coin used to loosen tongues. This mission was accumulation of all those efforts, a dangerous gambit that, if successful, could shift the balance of power. The stakes were high, but she was ready. The governor's palace loomed ahead, an edifice of power and elegance. Its walls, bathed in the soft glow of the moon, spoke of untold riches and closely guarded secrets. She approached with a mixture of awe and determination, aware of the challenges it presented. Just as she neared the entrance, a guard rounded the corner. Her heart skipped a beat, but she quickly receded into the doorway's shadow, barely breathing until he passed, oblivious to her presence. Inside the palace was a different world, a realm of opulence and whispered histories. She ascended the grand staircase, each step a silent testament to her years of training. The walls adorned with tapestries that told the stories of the city's past. Her mind, however, was firmly in the present, focused on the task at hand. Reaching the top of the staircase, the Inquisitor stood before the advisor's room. Her hand rested momentarily on the cool handle, steadying her racing heart. With a gentle push, the door yielded, silently revealing a chamber bathed in moonlight filtering through the gauzy curtains. Inside was a testament to the advisor's power and taste. Luxurious furnishings and rare artifacts adorned the space, but she had eyes only for her objective. She moved towards the large painting that, according to her intelligence, concealed the safe. With careful fingers, she slid the painting aside, revealing the metal door of the safe hidden in the wall. Her tools were out in an instant, deftly manipulating the lock with precision of a master. Within moments, the safe clicked open, revealing its secrets. There, nestled among documents of state and personal treasures, was a vial containing the Battle Brothers' Gene Mod serum, glinting ominously in the dim light. But alongside it lay something unexpected, a small, intricate carved box that seemed out of place. Curiosity piqued, she pocketed it, knowing it could hold unforeseen significance. As she secured the vial in the mysterious box, a sense of accomplishment washed over her, quickly replaced by the urgency of escape. She carefully returned the painting to its original position, concealing any evidence of her intrusion. As she made her way to the door, her foot brushed against a small decorative vase, sending it teetering perilously. Time seemed to slow as she caught it just before it crashed onto the floor. But the slight noise was enough. Footsteps approached rapidly from outside the room. Her mind raced. She couldn't be caught now, not after coming so far. As the door handle turned, she swiftly pulled a sleep dart from her cloak and positioned herself behind the door. The guard entered, a light in hand, his eyes scanning the room. But before he could react, she struck, her dart finding its mark. He slumped to the ground unconscious, but unharmed. As she stepped over the sleeping guard, a twinge of guilt gnawed at her. She had always prided herself in achieving her objective without causing harm. Yet, the stakes were too high, and she reminded herself that the greater good often demanded hard choices. Exiting the room, she blended back into the shadows, her heart still pounding from the close call. The weight of the vial in her pocket was a constant reminder of the mission's importance, but the unexpected box added a layer of uncertainty. What secrets did it hold, and how would it affect the delicate balance of power in the Sirius sector? With careful, swift movements, she retraced her steps through the palace, her mind a whirl of thoughts and plans. This mission was more than a simple retrieval. It was a step into uncharted territory, one that would change everything. As she emerged into the cold air, the Inquisitor knew that her next phase of her journey would be critical. She needed to reach the Blessed Sisters, to share her findings, and prepare for whatever challenges lay ahead. The future of humanity hung in the balance, and she was at the center of all of it. Initially, the members of what would become the Human Inquisition were simply known as the Inquisition, due to their role in identifying potential threats and rooting out the corruption of the Founder. These early members, directly employed by the Blessed Sisters, fell into two primary groups, the Investigators and the Envoys. The Envoys were the diplomatic arm of the Inquisition. Their primary task was to facilitate communication between the human colonies scattered across the Sirius sector. They played a pivotal role in escalating critical issues to the Blessed Sisters, ensuring that the Blessed Sisters were kept informed about the needs and concerns of the colonies. The Envoys were the bridge between the isolated monastic order of the Sisters and the diverse, often disparate human settlements. On the other hand, the Investigators had a more covert and challenging role. They were the ones on the front lines, tasked with uncovering the influence and corruption of the Founder within the human colonies. Their mission was to ensure that the dark legacy of the Founder did not take root again in the new world humanity was striving to build. The Investigators' work was often shrouded in secrecy. They operated in the shadows, gathering intelligence and keeping a vigilant eye for any signs of subversion. Their role was crucial in maintaining the stability and security of the human colonies, but it also placed them in a morally complex situation. As the Investigators evolved, the composition of its members began to diversify. While the Envoys and the Investigators formed the core, the Inquisition started to expand its ranks to include a variety of specialists. This expansion was a response to growing complexities of the threats faced by humanity in the Sirius sector. The Inquisition began to recruit psychics, skilled in probing minds and uncovering hidden truths. Assassins were brought into the fold, trained to eliminate threats with precision and discretion. Additionally, the Inquisition started to include fanatics and other misfits, individuals whose zeal and unconventional skills made them valuable assets in the Inquisition's secret operations. This varied composition of the Inquisition was a reflection of the multifaceted nature of the challenges they faced. Each member brought unique skills and perspectives, enabling the Inquisition to adapt and respond to a wide variety of threats, both seen and unseen. Initially, the Blessed Sisters mandated that the Inquisition operate under a code of straightforward and honorable conduct. This directive was in line with the Sisters' devotion to the God Queen, emphasizing the need to maintain the trust and faith of humanity's colonies in her legacy. The Inquisition was expected to embody these virtues in all their dealings, ensuring their actions were transparent and just. However, the reality of their mission in the Sirius sector presented a stark contrast to these ideals. The human colonies, having recently escaped the oppressive rule of the Founder, were fiercely protective of their newfound independence. They viewed any form of external oversight with suspicion, including the Inquisition. This wariness posed a significant obstacle to the Inquisition's efforts to gather intelligence and ensure the safety of the colonies. Faced with these challenges, the Inquisition found themselves compelled to adapt their methods. While they continued to uphold the Blessed Sisters' mandate in public, they increasingly resorted to more covert and morally ambiguous tactics in their operations. This shift was driven by the necessity to fulfill their mission amidst the complex and often hostile environments of the Sirius sector. The Inquisition began employing tactics such as bribery, threats, torture, and extortion to extract information. These methods, though effective, stayed far from the honorable conduct initially envisioned by the Blessed Sisters. The Inquisition also started to recruit their own agents within the colonies, establishing a network of informants that could provide them with critical intelligence. This network of informants was crucial in enabling the Inquisition to stay ahead of potential threats. However, it also further blurred the lines of morality in their operation. The Inquisition's use of these agents was closely guarded secret, known only to a select few within their ranks. In addition to their intelligence-gathering efforts, the Inquisition also established secret bases and research labs. These facilities were used to conduct scientific and sometimes occult research. This research was aimed at expanding the Inquisition's understanding of the Sirius sector and developing new methods to combat the various threats they encountered. The Inquisition's shift to more clandestine, controversial tactics was a reflection of the harsh realities they faced. Their primary goal remained the protection of humanity, but the means to achieve this end became increasingly complex and ethically challenging. In the solemn quiet of her new office, the newly appointed Supreme High Sister sat heavily in her chair, the weight of her role pressing down on her like the gravity of a foreign world. The room, austere and functional, felt too large, too empty, a stark contrast to the chaos and cacophony of the battlefield she had just left behind. Memories of the final, dreadful confrontation with the wormhole demons of lust haunted her. She could still hear the clash of metal, the cries of the fallen, and above all, the resonant voice of the God Queen, their beacon of hope, now extinguished. The loss of the God Queen had left a chasm in the heart of the Blessed Sisters, a void filled with uncertainty and grief. As she slowly regained her composure, her eyes fell upon the stack of reports on her desk. Methodically, she sifted through them, her mind seeking refuge in duty. Among the parchments and seals, one report caught her attention, a thick dossier bearing the insignia of the Inquisition. The Supreme High Sister had always regarded the Inquisition with a mix of respect and wariness. Their secretive ways and their shadowy methods often clashed with the more transparent and diplomatic approach of the Blessed Sisters, yet their effectiveness in combating threats was undeniable and a fact she had to grudgingly admit. Breaking the high security seal, she began to read. Pages of reconnaissance, threat assessments, and tactical analysis passed under her eyes until she froze, her heart skipping a beat. The title of a new section glared ominously at her. Project Report: Wormhole Demons and the Process to Summon Them, by the Occult Research Department. A cold shiver ran down her spine. The report detailed chilling experiments, a dangerous dance with darkness, all in the name of harnessing power that should never be wielded by mortal hands. The very idea was an affront to the memory of the God Queen, insult to every sacrifice made in the war against these otherworldly horrors. And then, the final blow, a request for the Supreme High Sister's approval to use living subjects and a squad of Blessed Sisters for further experimentation. The words blurred before her eyes as fury ignited within her, a blazing inferno that consumed all doubt and all hesitation. With a voice that echoed the command of the God Queen herself, she summoned her attendant. Her order resolute and fierce. Gather the commanders. We depart for the Inquisition's research facility immediately. As they assembled in the primary hangar, the commander saw not the hesitant leader who had entered her office that morning, but a figure of unwavering resolve, a leader reborn in the fires of righteous indignation. In her eyes, they saw the flicker of the God Queen's spirit, a flame rekindled in the heart of her successor. After the death of the God Queen and the subsequent repulsion of the Avatar of Lust, a noticeable change occurred within the ranks of the Inquisition. Their pursuit of knowledge and their efforts to root out corruption intensified, taking on a more zealous and unyielding character. This shift did not go unnoticed by the Blessed Sisters, who had always viewed the Inquisition as an extension of their own mission to protect humanity. Concerned by these changes, the Blessed Sisters initiated an investigation into the Inquisition's activities. What they uncovered was a revelation that would forever alter their relationship. The Inquisition, once a group of humble inquisitors and envoys, had evolved into a secretive organization with a network of sanctioned agents employing dishonorable tactics. The Blessed Sisters were taken aback by these findings. The Inquisition's methods, which now included espionage, covert operations, and morally dubious practices, stood in stark contrast to the Sisters' principles of honor and righteousness. The Sisters saw these actions as a betrayal of the value they had imparted to the Inquisition and a deviation from the path laid out by the God Queen. This discovery led to a growing rift between the Blessed Sisters and the Inquisition. The Sisters grappled with the realization that the Inquisition, an entity that they had created to safeguard humanity, had taken on a life of its own, operating under a set of rules that conflicted with their own. The Inquisition, for their part, believed that their actions, however unorthodox, were necessary for the protection of humanity. They saw themselves as the guardians of human civilization in the Sirius sector, willing to do whatever it took to shield it from internal and external threats. This divergence in ideology and methodology set the stage for the confrontation between the Blessed Sisters and the Inquisition, a confrontation that would ultimately lead to the Inquisition's declaration of independence and the birth of the Human Inquisition as a separate and autonomous entity. Disturbed by the findings of their investigation into the Inquisition's activities, the Blessed Sisters decided to intervene directly. They approached the Inquisition with a mix of disappointment and resolve, demanding an end to the immoral tactics and disgraceful methods that had come to define the Inquisition's operations. The Blessed Sisters implored the Inquisition to remember the legacy of the God Queen, whose memory they believed was so tarnished by these actions. They emphasized the importance of returning to the path of righteousness, to the honorable and transparent ways that initially guided the Inquisition's formation. The Sisters offered a hand of mercy, proposing to strip the Inquisition of their newfound autonomy and bring them back under the direct oversight of the Sisters. This confrontation was a defining moment for the Inquisition. Faced with the Sisters' demands, the Inquisition found themselves at a crossroads. The Sisters' proposal was not just a call for reform, it was an ultimatum that threatened the very essence of what the Inquisition had become. The Inquisition's response was one of defiance and of firm belief in the necessity of their methods. They argued that their actions, however unorthodox, were essential in the face of the myriad threats facing humanity in the Sirius sector. They pointed to their successes in safeguarding the colonies and argued that the return to the Blessed Sisters' way of doing things would leave humanity vulnerable. Furthermore, the Inquisition defended their research into the occult and the unknown, citing it as crucial in preventing future catastrophe like the return of the wormhole demons. They believed that their proactive and unyielding approach was the only way to ensure humanity's survival in a galaxy filled with unknown dangers. This clash of ideologies and vision for the future of humanity marked the beginning of an irreparable rift between the Blessed Sisters and the Inquisition. The Sisters' attempt to reel the Inquisition back had the opposite effect, solidifying the Inquisition's resolve to pursue their path. The refusal of the Inquisition to acquiesce to the demands of the Blessed Sisters marked a pivotal moment in their history, leading to a profound and irreversible schism. In a decisive move, the Blessed Sisters invoked the name of the God Queen, declaring the Inquisition disbanded. This act was meant to be a definitive statement, a reassertion of the Sisters' authority and a rejection of the path the Inquisition had chosen. The Sisters hoped that this declaration would bring an end to the Inquisition's activities and realign the remaining members with their original mission. However, the Inquisition's response was one of defiance. They rejected the Sisters' declaration, asserting that their mandate for the divine protection of humanity was beyond the Sisters' authority to revoke. The Inquisition argued that their actions, however unconventional, were necessary in the face of the threat facing humanity. This moment marked the formal severance of the official connection between the Blessed Sisters and the Inquisition. The Inquisition, now referring to themselves as the Human Inquisition, became a fully independent organization. They continued their operation, guided by their own principles and objectives, separate from the Blessed Sisters. The schism had significant implications for their power dynamics in the Sirius sector. The Human Inquisition, no longer bound by the directives of the Blessed Sisters, pursued their mission with an ever greater zeal and autonomy. They expanded their operations, delving deeper into the shadows and employing even more aggressive tactics in their quest to protect humanity. The Blessed Sisters, on the other hand, were left to grapple with the consequences of this split. They had to navigate the new reality of an independent Human Inquisition, an organization they had once nurtured, but which had now grown beyond their control. In the vast, silent expanse of the Great Human Alliance territory, a silent space beacon lay dormant. Its existence almost forgotten, it was a relic of the Human Inquisition's vigilance, a silent guardian against unseen threats. Suddenly, the beacon stirred to life, triggered by the passage of an unanticipated visitor, a spaceship gliding silently through the void. The beacon's silent alarm rippled through the cosmos, a whisper in the dark reaching the ears of a patrolling Human Inquisition ship. This ship, a sleek craft designed for stealth and speed, stirred from its watchful orbit. With practiced precision, it set a course to intercept the intruder. As the Inquisition ship drew closer, its sensors revealed the invader's identity. A human design bearing the ID marks of a transport ship from a distant human colony. Yet something was amiss. The ship, drifting eerily, its trajectory slow, but inevitably aligned with a massive trading station at the heart of human trade lanes. The Inquisitor, a figure shrouded in the authority and mystery of their order, hailed the drifting vessel. No response came. Again and again, the calls echoed through the void. Each met with silence, more unsettling than the last. Deciding on a more direct approach, the Inquisitor maneuvered their ship with expert precision, docking seamlessly with the drifting vessel. Boarding the ship was like stepping into a scene from a nightmare. The walls were scarred with laser fire, smeared with the haunting evidence of bloodshed. The Inquisitor, a veteran of countless encounters, moved with cautious steps through the ghostly corridors. Bodies lay scattered, their stillness telling a tale of sudden, violent ends. Reaching the cockpit, the Inquisitor's eyes were drawn to the blinking light next to a recorder. Pressing play, a message flickered to life, revealing the panic, bloodied face of the pilot. Desperation and fear were etched into every word. The pilot spoke of an infection, a malignant presence that had overtaken the crew, transforming them into something unrecognizable, something deadly. One by one, the uninfected had fallen, leaving only him to send their final warning. His last words, uttered with the weight of impending doom, implored anyone listening to destroy the ship, to prevent the infection from reaching the sanctity of human settlements. As the message ended, a chilling realization dawned on the Inquisitor. The silence of the ship was an illusion, a sinister prelude to a lurking nightmare. As the pilot's desperate message faded into silence, a subtle yet unnerving sound echoed through the ship's corridor. The Inquisitor, his senses honed by years of training, tensed. The lifeless bodies strewn in the hallway outside the cockpit began to stir. One by one they rose, their movements jerky and unnatural, a grotesque parody of life. The Inquisitor, ever composed even in the face of such horrors, drew his plasma pistols with practiced ease. The infected humans, their eyes hollow, their movements driven by some insidious force, started advancing towards him. The narrow corridor became an arena of survival. As they lunged, the Inquisitor's pistols blazed, sending bolts of searing plasma into the oncoming horde. Each shot found its mark, halting the infected in their tracks. The air crackled with energy, the smell of burnt flesh permeating the enclosed space. He moved with lethal precision, backing down the corridor, but they kept coming, driven by a relentless hunger. Then, in a moment of respite, the inevitable happened. The plasma pistols clicked empty. The silence was broken by a sudden, ferocious movement from above. An infected, more agile and deadly, lunged from an air vent. The Inquisitor, reacting instinctively, cast a protective dome. A shimmering force field sprung from his hand, expanding rapidly, slamming the infected into the wall with a bone-crushing force. Without pausing, the Inquisitor sprinted towards the exit. Rounding the final turn to his ship, he was confronted by a new terror, a monstrous behemoth of twisted human flesh. The infected tyrant charged with mindless fury, crushing into the Inquisitor with the force of a freight train. The impact sent him reeling into the wall, his vision blurring, ears ringing. As the behemoth grabbed him and raised him off the ground, its hands closing around him with the intent to tear him apart, the Inquisitor summoned his last reserves of strength. Activating his energy fist, he plunged it into the monster's head. The force of the blow shattered its grip, freeing him from its clutches. Staggering, bruised but unbroken, the Inquisitor made a desperate dash for his ship. He slammed the airlock shut behind him, sealing away the nightmare he had escaped. As the ship detached and sped away from the cursed vessel, the Inquisitor knew this was only the beginning. The infection, this new horror, was a threat, that could not be ignored. It had to be contained, eradicated, before it could spread its malevolent tendrils further into human space. The Human Inquisition, having declared its independence from the Blessed Sisters, found itself navigating a complex web of relationships with various factions. One of these most significant public connections was with the Great Human Alliance. This alliance, formed from the myriad human colonies in the Sirius sector, represented a unified front of humanity in the face of external threats. The relationship between the Human Inquisition and the Great Human Alliance was primarily utilitarian. The Inquisition provided the Alliance with valuable intelligence and information, which was crucial for the security and stability of the human colonies. In return, the Inquisition received resources and support that enabled them to continue their operations. This symbiotic relationship was beneficial for both parties, as it bolstered the overall defense and cohesion of human settlements in the Sirius sector. Despite their independence, the Human Inquisition also maintained an unofficial connection with the Blessed Sisters. While their formal ties had been severed, there remained a level of interaction between the two factions. These interactions were often opportunistic, with the Inquisition occasionally providing information to the Sisters in exchange for favors or resources. This relationship was complex, marked by a history of shared origin but divergent paths. The Inquisition's public connections were strategic and often shrouded in a layer of diplomacy and secrecy. They were adept at navigating the political landscape of the Sirius sector, leveraging their relationship to further their goals and ensure the protection of humanity. These public connections, however, were just one aspect of the Inquisition's network of alliances and interactions. Behind the scenes, the Inquisition had a range of hidden ties with other factions, which played a crucial role in their operation and influence within the Sirius sector. Beneath the surface of their public connections, the Human Inquisition cultivated a network of clandestine relationships that were crucial to their operation and strategic objectives. One of the most intriguing of these were their association with the Battle Brothers, the former followers of the Founders, now the followers of the Conduit. This relationship was particularly complex given that the original Inquisition was formed in part to oppose the Conduit's followers. The Inquisition's connection to the Battle Brothers was born out of necessity and pragmatism. In the treacherous landscape of interstellar politics and warfare, the Inquisition recognized the value of having allies with significant military capabilities. The Battle Brothers, known for their martial prowess and strategic acumen, were a formidable force in the sector. This alliance, though kept hidden from public view, allowed the Inquisition to leverage the Battle Brothers' strength for mutual benefit. Additionally, the Inquisition had ties with various other factions that sought their services for espionage and assassinations. The Inquisition's expertise in intelligence gathering and covert operations made them a valuable asset to these factions. These relationships were often transactional, with the Inquisition providing their skills in exchange for resources, information, or political favors. In the golden age of industry, marked by the rise of mega-corporations and the emergence of the Titan Lords, proved a fertile ground for the Inquisition's spies and assassin business. Corporations and powerful individuals vying for control and influence frequently employed the Inquisition's services to gain an edge over their rivals. The Inquisition, adept at navigating the shadows, thrived in this environment, expanding their influence and capabilities. These hidden ties were a testament to the Human Inquisition's adaptability and zealous dedication to humanity. They were able to maintain a balance between their public persona and their covert operations, ensuring their survival and effectiveness in the complex and often volatile landscape of the Sirius sector. The Human Inquisition's network of relationships, both public and hidden, played a crucial role in their evolution, from a group of investigators and envoys to a powerful and autonomous entity. Their ability to navigate the intricate web of interstellar politics and alliances was a key factor in their enduring influence and legacy in this new galaxy. And with that, our exploration ends here for today, but fear not, lore enthusiasts. There is plenty more to discover in the OnePageRules GrimDark Future. Thank you for watching this video of mine. I hope that you all enjoyed learning about the Human Inquisition. I really struggled writing this script, but I had a blast with the stories. If you liked the stories, or if you liked the script, please leave a comment. If you didn't like it, I would like to hear about it in the comments as well. Feedback always helps. And also make sure to vote in our latest community poll if you want to help select the topic for the next video. And also, hopefully, there won't be any lore changes last minute, so that way I can deliver on what you voted for this time. The link for that latest community poll is in the pinned comment below. Once there, you'll be able to choose from the Custodian Brothers. Why does the Founder keep dying? The Dark Elf Raiders. We are the pirates who lost everything. The Havoc Brothers. We got lost and now we hate everyone. And the Ratman clans. What if rodents got juiced? I'm also hosting a OnePageRules GrimDark Future tournament to celebrate hitting 1,000 subscribers. I'll be doing some live streams about the tournament, and in the end I will be hosting the final match. So keep an eye out for that. The final match will probably be near the end of the year, but I'm still working on scheduling the date. Please come and watch, for it will be a blast. If you like this video today, please like, share, subscribe, and ring the notification bell for more expanded lore videos. And remember that the universe never runs out of stories. There is always one page more.